It's working now. So, hello everyone who will be coming into the live after um, the pre-recorded version comes out. So, my name is Brittany. I am the owner of a brand called Brandplicity. I decided to go live today to talk about this topic because it's been on my mind, but I felt like if I sat down to do a pre-recorded video, it would just become this whole thing and just kind of miss the message. If you're a creator, then hopefully you understand what I mean by like just going in. So it might be a little bit unpolished, but the information is what matters. So let's just get into it. So I'll tell you a little bit about my business, and I will be using my business as an example, and not to say that I have it all figured out, but obviously it's a lived experience, and that's the way that I'm going to be best able to describe what I need to describe, right? So I started my business. I have notes, so I'll be looking down on my phone at some points. I started a business where I sell braiding hair. The braiding hair is a combination of colors. And so it's like mixed braiding hair. And then I have the boho pieces to match. And so this business was born out of necessity, which is a really great way to create a business. Not everything has to be a necessity when you create a business, but the riches is in the niches, as they like to say. So the reason I created the business is because I was braiding my daughter's hair over the summer, and she wanted a mixed color of hair, and there was nothing in the store that fit what I wanted to do to her hair. It was like either too light or it wasn't a mix, like it was super blonde. So I was like, I'm gonna have to mix this. So I Googled or YouTube how to mix the braiding hair. I was able to mix it, but then she wanted the boho pieces. So I was left with having to buy a human hair pack of blonde and a human hair pack of black. And I was like, this is super expensive. Like there's no mix of these colors. And so, time went on, and then it came back up because then she wanted her hair done again. And I was like, you know what? This should be a business because this is going to save braiders time. It'll save consumers time to not be going into the braid shop or, the beauty supply store, looking all around for something that they can't find. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to create it. And it made so much sense because one, of course, I don't know every business that exists in the United States, but a lot of times the owners of the beauty supply store are Asian, and that's just, it is what it is. And so I was like, you know what? There's not a lot of Black people, Black women in the hair space that just have this like global business that I'm aware of. And I was like, why are we not getting a piece of something that we use so often? We go in the beauty supply store and we're trying to ask them questions. And because they have no idea about our hair, because they can't relate, they're just kind of going off what people keep telling them. They haven't experienced it. And I'm like, I braid my daughter's hair and my hair all the time. I know which braiding hair to get. I know the feel of it. And I actually know how to braid hair. So I'm like, this is perfect. And so that's how I was able to just go ahead and start. So let's just get into like the actual business pieces and how I went through all of that. I'm really hoping you guys can hear me because this will be a waste if you can't. But the first thing that I did is I came up with the name. And whenever you want to start a business or you want to start something new, do not overthink it. I think we get in our own way about stuff. And I was like, you know what? I simply just want to do braiding hair and have these different colors. So I just married braid and simplicity, and I came up with the name Brandplicity. Keep it simple, something most people can read and look at and know how to say right when they see it and get the gist of what it is. It's braid, something about braids that are simple. So once I had the name, I went into Canva, created a logo. Again, something simple, didn't have to be anything crazy. Just something that I know I would be comfortable with and something that I can grow with, and I can put it all over everything and I would be okay with seeing it. Went in Canva, did that. And then after that, I was like, okay, I want to start buying hair, but I want everything that I buy to be written off as a business expense. So I went on Inkfile. They changed the name. I think it's Busy or something, but just Google Inkfile. Went to Inkfile and I chose the option where it was the cheapest one because they're trying to charge you for stuff that they don't need to charge you for. So make sure you do the one that is free. I don't think it's free because you have to pay for the filing, but the one that doesn't have the additional fees on it. So I did that one and I went ahead and put my name into the information, got Braidplicity as a name. It does a search for you to make sure that no one else in your state has that name. And then on there, they also give you the option to start your business bank account. So I went ahead through there. Once your name is approved, I think it probably takes about 2 weeks. Then it'll also sign you up for a business bank account with Bank of America. And then they asked you if you want to file your EIN number on there. And I said no, because filing your EIN number is free. So all you have to do is Google EIN number and it'll take you to the federal website. Make sure you're on the federal website because it should be $0. You're going to file it there with your name and give the information that they asked for. And so that day, now the system is so up to date that you get an EIN number that day. So boom, that's the number that you're going to use to have your business write off in your taxes. And you want to make sure that you have your business bank account set up too, because that way you're able to track your transaction and you're separating it from your personal money and personal transactions. So then you know, okay, I spent this amount on Tuesday, I spent this amount on Wednesday. So after that, I'm good to go. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this tax ID number and I'm going to go ahead and look for some vendors. And so the easiest way for me to find the vendor, the very first vendor I used is I was following this girl who also braids hair and she sells a vendor list. So there's several people who sell hair who have vendor lists and they will give you their vendor information. So if you want me to give you your vendor information, my vendor information, just let me know. And so from there with the vendor information, okay, I guess I'm still live. With the vendor information, you will reach out to them and go through what you need. Now, it's not necessarily an easy process because, as you know, most of the people who sell this hair are not in the United States. So you definitely have to be patient, and they're on a different time zone as well. So reach out to them and got my first, I think I did my first order. I forgot to write when I did my very first order. But I'll get to that. So anyway, so then the next step after I solidified my name is that I knew I was going to go with Shopify. Never used Shopify, but I know that it was going to get me the quickest way to be able to sell without having to do a bunch of research and set up all these different ways to get paid. Everything is inside of Shopify. So I found an ebook and I can link the ebook that I use and she walk you through, how to get set up on Shopify. So I went through that process. She made it very easy. She walked me through everything. So I did the Shopify, I bought the Shopify ebook on September 11th for $17. And by September 15th, I had the site set up. And then by September 20th, I went live in the store. So Shopify also makes it easy because they walk you through how to set up your website and get everything going. They make you do a test order, they make you do a test refund, and then they have different templates that help you set up your website, like your refund policy and all those different things that you need on your website. So they make that really, really easy. And so then so let's talk about the timeline for this business. So I set up Inkfile on September 16th. On that very same day, I got my EIN number. And that way I can, take care of my finances. September 19th, I posted my first YouTube video showing me mixing hair. And so, yes. And then on September 25th is when I bought the ebook with the vendor information in there. And I'm pretty sure that day or the next day I set up and purchased my first hair from one of the vendors. And then on September 16th, I got my first approval for TikTok Shop. Now I'm on TikTok Shop and Shopify. So what I did is I used this app that allows you to marry the two. So I'm really just kind of going through Shopify, and it uploads all my products on TikTok Shop. And y'all, TikTok Shop is not very user friendly. It did take me a few days of like back and forth with them to get everything set up. And I'm still kind of learning, but I am committed to not overthinking this process and knowing that I'm going to make mistakes and I can learn as I go. Yeah, so I have everything set up. I have the business bank account now, and I'm on TikTok Shop and Shopify. So let's just kind of get into the mindset as far as setting up a business. So I want to let you know that I'm someone who considers myself a creative. I'm always coming up with ideas, and I do jump on those ideas. But this is I won't say the very first time, but this is the time that I know this is it. This is alignment, and we hear people talk about alignment. And what I want to say about alignment is that once you find your thing, once you find your business idea or whatever you're going to put out, it's going to feel right. Just like when they say, when you found the one, you know it's the one, like this is the one. But I don't want you to be discouraged if you're already in something and you enjoy it, but there's like a missing link to it. Because everything that I've done prior to now has set me up for this. I used to design websites, so it's easy for me to do a logo. I used to make logos for people. I've sold jewelry, so I do have some experience with selling stuff online and having to sell stuff to people. You know, I've done all these various things, and they're all a setup for this. And then I've been braiding hair, you know, just really my daughters and my hair, and then like a friend or two from time to time. So this is something that took time to get here. It wasn't overnight. I started braiding hair. I think the first time I braided my hair, I had to go out of town for an event, and I didn't have money to pay anyone. And I also was living in a state where I didn't know anyone to braid their hair, or braid my hair, I should say. And so it was born out of necessity. And so from there, I have the skill. I had to practice this years over years to be able to braid hair. So I just want you to know that alignment will be the best thing, and that's what's going to keep you going. If you're in something and you feel restless, like when I was creating content before, I would feel restless because I knew that I wanted to have some output, but it wasn't as natural. It wasn't really my thing. And so now that I'm in alignment, I did my very first YouTube video on September 19th. Since then, I have created 14 other videos I need to edit to, and I've created 17 shorts since September 19th. That is alignment for me. I was not restless about creating this. I still have more ideas of things that I want to create. And it's easy for me to create it because it's just something that I naturally know how to do. Sometimes we overlook those things that come natural to us, right? But that is where your gifting is, and that's what's going to be easy. Because I can just braid hair and it's not a big deal, it doesn't really feel like a thing. But there's people who don't know how to braid hair, don't have the time to braid hair, whatever the thing is, or they don't have time to mix hair. You know, they don't know what hair to buy. And so your business solves a problem. And so, you know, don't overthink it, and figure out what your gifting is and what comes natural to you. And so, also too, the thing about this business, because I'm so sold on it, there's no stopping me. There's no, it's just mistakes. And how do I move forward? Not to say that I want to lose money. Obviously, the business is for me to make money, but it's no thing. Like, I know that's going to be part of this process. And once you're sold on something, that's when you know you found your thing. Like, no one can talk you out of it, even if it doesn't make sense to them. Like, I didn't have any conversations with anyone about this business, I think, outside of my husband. And that's not usually how I do things. Like, I will start kind of, having conversations with people to kind of test the air. On this one, I didn't have any conversation. My friend actually called me out and was like, girl, did you just start a whole business and not have a conversation with us? And I was like, yes, because I didn't want to talk myself out of it. And I didn't want to stop my momentum to have conversation about what I'm going to do. I wanted to use that energy to actually do it. And then I'll kind of catch everybody up, which, I'm kind of catching people up with it. So that's how you want to feel about what you're going to get into. And it doesn't mean that it's like you're Albert Einstein and you're curing cancer or anything. It's just like, this is my thing. Like, I can do this. I can go on stage and talk about this if I needed to. I can go over, down the street and braid someone's hair or have a conversation with them about braids, and I don't mind doing it. So then that's how you know that is your thing. That is maybe going to become your ministry. And I'll also be honest that I am reluctant to actually braid people's hair. That part is just falling into my lap. And I guess it's a natural progression to be able to have people experience the hair, be able to get content. And I also was already scammed. Somebody watched my last video, walked out on me while I was finishing their hair, and never paid me. Don't know where she is. But that very next day, even though I was a little in my feelings about it, I was like, this is just confirmation. It gave me this weird feeling of, this is confirmation for what I'm doing, even though that was a weird way to get confirmation. And so the next day I was like, you know what, let me get out of my feelings. And I braided my mom's hair, and my mom is suffering with alopecia. So I was able to create a style. My mom hasn't had her hair braided in years, and I was able to create a style for her. And I was like, thank you, Lord, for helping me to move forward. And do you know, while we were sitting having all this conversation about this girl, and I had sent her my very last text message, someone was ordering for the first time on my website. So I didn't give you those stats. So I started the website September 20th. I got my first order October 13th on Shopify. Excuse me, I keep burping. I got my first order on Shopify on October 13th, which is crazy. Less than a month, I already have a sale. And then I also have braided 4 people's hair, including the person that scammed me, and not counting braiding my own hair for content and also my girl's hair for content since then. So when you're aligned and when you start and you give it your all and you're not taking no for an answer and you're finding these avenues, it's all going to fall in line. Even with YouTube, I have such a different mentality about YouTube where, yes, obviously I want the views and I want the content, or I want the people to like the videos, but each video is just like a business card. It's just bringing awareness. Every piece of content is awareness. So if 100 people saw it, great. That's 100 people that I'm having these 7 touch points that I need to have before they become in my pipeline, right? Obviously, everyone's not going to be a part of my business, but if one person is part of my business, then I feel like it's a success. I've only had 2 orders on my website, but every order is like, oh my goodness, it's just confirmation. The first order came from someone from YouTube, just posting a video that I was going to do anyway. Someone purchased. The second one came from TikTok Shop. Already someone has purchased on TikTok Shop. So at this point, I'm just amazed, but I'm in this for the long haul. So it's nice to have the order. Like when I got the first order, I didn't even have all my supplies in, But I'm like, okay, Lord, you're going before me in this business. Let me catch up to you. But I know I'm in the long term. Like my son was even making fun. He was like, you open your business, no one's coming to your store. But I know someone's going to come to my store. This hair is never going to expire, and neither is my desire to have this business, right? And I can already see the growth. I already see the long term. I already know where I'm headed. So this is just a stepping stone of confirmation where I'm at. And I know that it's going to grow even bigger. So I'm sharing all this because it's possible for you as well. Like I'm just at home coming up with this idea, and we have so many things at our fingertips now that it's just no excuse not to start, not to try. You got one life. And so if there's something on your heart to do not let outside thoughts or outside people talk you out of something that was given to you and it's your vision. And yeah, I'm proud of you before it actually happens. I'm going to be here to encourage you on this journey. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about in this video, let me know. I'm going to have to go because one, I need to make sure the sound is working. And then also my laptop battery is about to die and I have no idea where my charger is. So I don't want it to cut off on me, but I appreciate you for watching. And I will see you next time, and you have a blessed rest of your day.